Hello everyone and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 28 press conference live stream with me, Holly Shand. As always, we've got a lot to get through. Today we're going to be going through the managers' press conferences. I'm going to be revealing my final team for the blank. We've got just 7 fixtures in play, and we'll also be discussing captaincy because with no Erling Haaland because of the blank for Man City, the captain conversation is absolutely wide open. So there's lots for you to get involved with today. The poll is live. Please like and subscribe as well. This helps me to get the stream out to as many people as possible. Also, we've got the chat is open, so come and say hello. Let me know what injury news you're looking out for from today's press conferences, and I'm also interested to hear any conundrums you have in terms of transfers and captaincy before the deadline, which is at 6:30 tonight. Please do not miss it. It is a Friday deadline. So as I've mentioned then, we are going to be going through the managers' press conferences today. There aren't as many, mainly due to the fact that it is FA Cup weekend. So we've got 6 teams not in action, but at 1 o'clock, which is now, we're hoping to hear from Wolves and Bournemouth. And then at 1:30, we're hoping to hear from Chelsea and Southampton. And then at 2:15 from Aston Villa. No press conference at all from Arsenal. Arteta did have some embargoed comments at the end of last night's UEFA Europa League defeat. That's something that we need to bear in mind because a few injuries popped up in that game. No press conference from Palace either. Patrick Vieira has been sacked. An interesting situation developing there with their goalkeepers. And Newcastle United, you'll see in my team when I put it on the screen at the moment that Fabian Schär has been yellow flagged. This is a bit of a weird one because Eddie Howe hasn't come out anywhere and said that he's injured. But we have heard that he's not going to be going off on international duty with Switzerland due to an injury, but it has been pictured in training. So hopefully the idea is he's going to play through the pain barrier in game week 28 and then have the international break off and then be fit because we'll need him again, especially those of us still with a bench boost for double game week 29 as well. So a headache we could do without. We've also got Ivan Toney, who is 1 yellow card off a 2-game suspension. So these are the sorts of niggles. As you can see, I've not made my transfer yet, but I probably will do it on stream because even if something was to come up in the press conferences, I don't think there's anything major that's going to stop me from doing my planned transfer, which is Haaland out for Watkins. And then the 11 picks itself, because I've only got 11 players with a fixture this week, so that's an easy one. I'm not going to be one of these foolish people that play the blanks. That's not for me, that game. But yeah, it's an interesting one in terms of, you know, which players to hold that blank and which ones to not hold. And the captaincy as well, wide open. The captain poll is live, as I said at the top. 3 options in there. Kane against Southampton away, Saka against Crystal Palace at home, and other, because I know that some people are fancying a differential move, and if there's any week to do it, it's this week, because, you know, having no Haaland, no Rashford is going to shake up the captaincy conundrum, and, you know, it could be a week to really make up ground if you are chasing. So I'm going to hop over to the chat now, say hello to some of you guys. I can see there's a number of you in already, which is great to see. If you are watching, hit that like button in the stream as well. It really helps me to get the stream out to as many people as possible, and that means that I can continue to provide you with more great content. Light Rays is in, he says hello, as does Mahad. Jack is in as well, and Mike. FPL Guy is in, as is Zuba. FPL Roo. Go check out his channel, by the way. I recorded a little video with him yesterday about the Ivan Toney situation, which is a good watch. Leron is in as well, as is Gazman. Good to see that you can join us live today. Manuel is in as well, as is Zuba, who says congrats on 17k. Didn't quite make it on stream last night, but smashed it. We're up to 17.1k now. I'm hoping to get to 20, I was going to say 200,000, that's a bit ambitious. I'm hoping to get to 200,000 subs by the end of... Have I said 200,000 again? I'm losing it. hoping to get to 20,000 subs by the end of the season. So quite an ambitious target. I'm going to have lots of content coming your way, but obviously anything you can do in terms of supporting the channel really does help. Liking, commenting, subscribing, which I know a lot of you do as well, and there's some familiar names in the chat. I can also see that FPL Clue is in, as is Akshat, David from Melbourne, making me jealous as well, Nithin and Russell. So good to see you all. I've got the tweet deck open as well. So as I said, we're hoping to hear from Wolves and Bournemouth in the next few minutes. I mean, I'm guessing there's not a lot of injury news we're looking to gather from those two teams. But if you have got injury news that you're wanting to find out today, let me know, and obviously we can keep an eye on that coming through. We will also see some press conferences from teams that are in the FA Cup this weekend. Come on, Grimsby, in the quarterfinals, can they knock out Brighton so that I can have a trip to Wembley? It's 2008 the last time I went to Wembley to see Grimsby, and I think it was the Johnston Paint Trophy final against MK Dons. We lost, long way to travel to lose. But yeah, we will see some FA Cup press conferences coming up on the tweet deck as well, which is going to keep us entertained, that's for sure. Any Grimsby fans, do let me know in the chat as well. So if we start having a look through some of your questions, there was a comment at the top about the draw for the Champions League and Europa League from Light Rays. So just want to look at that first of all. I don't know if it's going to load on my screen now. Real Madrid v Chelsea, Man City v Bayern Munich. Can't wait to watch them. United v Seville as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting navigating that in terms of an FPL perspective in the schedule. Lots of important midweek fixtures that are coming. Obviously, game week 29 is the double game week with lots of midweek games. But then the midweek of game week 30 and the midweek of game week 31, we're going to see some of those European games. And then game week 32 is where we see clashes with the FA Cup semi-final weekend. I think Brighton v Man City will definitely be off for that one because they're both in the quarterfinals. But there's hope that Grimsby beat Brighton and Brighton's still blank. But it's going to be a week where we could be potentially looking to free hit. So it's important to, just have a little bit of a gauge of what is going on in the schedule when we get there. But obviously nothing to worry about too much right at this moment. Let's have a look then at some of your questions. Mahad says, Kane or Martinelli captain? This is a difficult one. There's so many good captain picks this week. What I like to do is just go off the... I like to use the prediction tool on Fantasy Football Hub. There's a lot to unpack in terms of their tools, but just in terms of raw player predictions, these are the top 5. So we've got Kane on 7.6. Tony is second on 6.1. Watkins also on 6.1. Then João Felix and Trippier. You can always use the fixture analyzer as well. So for game week 28, the best fixture of the week goes to Villa at home to Bournemouth, followed by Chelsea and then Arsenal. For goals, Arsenal are top. Spurs quite a way down that list. For defence, we've got and clean sheet potential, Arsenal top of the list, but Tomiyasu and Saliba both picked up injuries in the Europa League last night. We also saw Zinchenko struggling after 120 minutes, but that could have just been cramp. So that's all to bear in mind, and you can get full access to all of these tools from the Fantasy Football Hub website by looking at the link in the description to this video. That will get you 30% off your membership. I'm also going to see if I can drop that link in the chat as well, just to help you guys out that are maybe looking to get on board with those memberships, because there's loads of great tools on there. Obviously the My Team tool is absolutely free, but you've got the Opta Stats on there, the comparison tool. It's all really useful stuff in terms of being able to get an edge on your rivals. I'm more of a stats-based manager than an eye test, predominantly because I don't have much time to watch that much football anymore with a young family. But I am a numbers person anyway. There's a maths geek in me somewhere. Used to be a maths teacher for my sins, so yeah, you're always going to see me favouring the stats more than most managers. But got to stay true to your roots. Let's try and get the stream to 50 likes while we're at it, guys. Jack has said, in two minds, if you hold on to Haaland, ignore temptation of bringing in Watkins or Havertz. Feel like the more you go against the crowd, the more decisions go my way. What would you do? I think we can get caught up in the fact that the FPL community is actually still quite small. I know there was controversy last week that so many in the community that maybe played a wild card in 26 or 27 got 105 points last week. I didn't, incidentally, even though I wild carded at the same time, which shows that there is a little bit of variation in there. But, it is a very small group of people that are playing FPL. Now, the logic here for selling Haaland is he's only got one fixture in the next 2 game weeks, and that's Liverpool at home. If you buy someone like Watkins, for example, he's got 3 fixtures in the same period and he's in form. Haaland's ceiling against Liverpool, maybe a hat-trick, 17 points. That's the worst case scenario. You're not going to captain him because it's a double game week, loads of sides with attractive fixtures. So are you kind of hedging your bets that someone else can outperform Haaland, who's going to get you somewhere between 2 and 17 points in one fixture, whereas the other players have 3. You're thinking minimum someone's going to get you a 6-pointer, just from appearance points. So I wouldn't overthink it. I think it's an easy decision. Mike says, have to bring in Watkins for Haaland. What could go wrong? I'm with you. 18 points, Mike's saying worst case scenario. Our man gets 5 or 6 for 12-point loss at worst. Yeah, but like the ceiling as well, if you take Watkins, over the last 3 fixtures, he got 16 points. If you look at this cluster here, the 11, 8, 7, that's 26 points across 3 fixtures. We've not been used to seeing a lot of double digits from Watkins, but he's probably on track for his best ever season in FPL, even though it's definitely more recent form. FPL Guy says, I will have 13 doubles in 29. Shall I sell Saka for Fernandes in 29 to have 14 double game week players? I really like Arsenal's fixtures in 29. I think it's fine to be holding them for Leeds at home. I don't understand why people will be selling Arsenal assets, because now they're out of the Europa League as well. They're not in the FA Cup either. They're just focused on winning the Premier League from now until the end of the season. Now, you're not telling me that you're going to sell Saka in 29 and not want him back, or an Arsenal player back. I guess the only argument for selling Arsenal players is it in 29 is if you feel like you're on the wrong triple up, particularly if you're on the wrong triple up across positions. It's easier to make that adjustment. But other than that, I just hold on to your Arsenal players. I think since I saw Martinelli, he scored like 5 goals in 5 games. When did I sell Martinelli? Did I bench him at some point? Certainly since I wildcarded, he's been delivering. And Saka, I think since I got him back, I think I bought him after... Did I buy him? Yeah, I think I bought Saka after 25 and he's got 2 blanks in a row. There's not actually been that many times this season that he's blanked for 2 games in a row. If ever, game week 2 to game week 3, I think I had him for that as well. It's like the bane of my life being on the right Arsenal players, but, you got to do what you got to do and, it will come good eventually. Got to keep the faith now, I think. Zuba said, could have got 130 points if I bench boosted onwards and upwards. Yeah, that bench boost in game week 29 is under pressure now. I think I was on 26 points. Pain, though. And I said on this stream, didn't I, last week, I said, I've been waiting weeks for Gabriel to get a bullet header from a set piece. He better not get it the week I bench him. And what happened? The week I benched him, he got it. Absolute travesty. Just having a look at the tweet deck to see if there's anything. Well, you know, most of it is... What's this from Brentford? Is that something we need to know? It's probably nothing, isn't it? A suspension or something. I forgot what I was saying now. Completely gone out of my head. What was I saying? Oh, about the Europa League draws. We will get some press conference news through. We've also got Roy Hodgson is rumoured to be returning to Palace. It seems bizarre that sacking for Vieira. I feel like he deserved a bit more time. FPL Roo said no manager bounce for Palace. Is that even a thing? I get the new manager bounce, but no manager bounce. I'd have backed Vieira in that game, going back to Arsenal, to at least put up a little bit of a fight to, you know, really get his players going. Luron says, have the bench boost wildcard and free hit. Should I use the wildcard this game week? Yeah, I would do, because I think I don't like using the free hit this week. I think it can be saved. And, you know, with the wild card, you can set up your team well for 28 and 29 with a view to bench boosting in 29 as well. So, yeah, I would wild card this week. Let me know, guys, if you want me to do a wild card draft, by the way, or a free hit or anything like that, if you're going to find that useful. And if we find time, we'll get onto it. Gazman said, Watkins captain on my free hit. That is on tilt, but I feel like, you know, there's not going to be a huge majority of people that do free hit in 28. So you're going to get a big rank boost, you think, anyway, by having the luxury of a free hit. So why not go rogue with the... It's not even that rogue, is it? Like, the hub tool puts Watkins third. Well, joint second, really. Manalal says, just wanted to say thank you for your content. Really helped me, especially in 27. Topped my local league for the first time this season after being second for a long time, 99 points. Well done. I'm glad that you're finding the content useful, and hopefully you keep supporting me in the channel for the rest of the season. Help me get to 20k by the end of the season. We've got about 12 weeks, if that, maybe 9, 8. How many game weeks have we got left after this one? 10? It's probably 11 weeks then. Yeah, if my maths is right. FPL Clue says he'd like the stream. Appreciate that, buddy. I'm going to struggle to say this. Shamalaman is on Captain Kane. I agree, that is the one. For me, Captain Kane seems like a good idea. He's got the form, got the fixture. If you saw yesterday, let me just find it on Twitter. I did post the stats for Kane's record against Southampton. Be able to find it. What is going on with my connection? This is taking an age to load. Probably because I'm streaming. Yeah, so hopefully you can see this okay. But in games against Southampton, in 14 starts, Kane has delivered 11 goals, 6 assists, 17 returns, which is pretty decent. Can't go too far wrong with that. Pretty pleased with that one. Nelson says, thanks for the interaction and consistent content. No worries. Yeah, I'm enjoying giving you lots of content this season. I've really stepped it up, so I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Few people in from Malaysia. Way more exotic than Grimsby. Wenyi as well is in from Malaysia. Vivek says hello. Akshat says, how many ideal players are required in the blank? I think if you can get to 9 or 10 without a hit, that is absolutely fine. 11 would be great, but I wouldn't waste your free hit or take a massive points hit to get to 11. Shamilaman says, I don't have Trippier. Next week I'll transfer. You kind of got away without owning Trippier in the last few. No clean sheets in 5 for Newcastle, having kept... Well, this isn't right for everyone, but for Trippier, he got 8 clean sheets in a row. I think a couple of early subs helped him out, particularly against Southampton, if I remember rightly. But also in there, he got an assist last week, which was, it was nice to see him back in the attacking returns. I think the numbers are still very convincing for Trippier. I've not actually looked. When did we get a bit of a lull? Let's have a look from game week 22 onwards at the creativity stats. Because I don't think Trippier has been quite as prolific. But, you know, second for corners taken in that time. Joint top for free kicks in that time. Key passes, interestingly, isn't really anywhere on that list. Or big chances created. I've not really been watching a lot of Newcastle in that time to see what's been going on. But is that a little bit of a concern? 13 key passes and just 2 big chances created. So what's happened there? Has anyone been watching Newcastle and can give their interpretation on that? I think Trippier is still on course for a massive haul. I think Robertson currently owns the record for the most points by a defender in a single Premier League season with 213. You'd like to think Trippier can get there, but he is going to have to step it up a little bit. Caslando says 2 million subs by the end of the stream. I wish I could retire. Nah, it's not going to happen, but, you know, appreciate you banging the drum. We've had 10 since the stream started, which is, you know, hugely appreciated. Stream is up to 62 likes, which is great as well. There's over 100 of you in now, so let's see if we can get it to 100 likes. Nappy is saying that Real Madrid against Chelsea. Yeah, it's going to be a big one. David says, hi Holly, which midfielder would you take a 1 week punt with a budget of 9.4 million? Now this is difficult, particularly if you've maybe already tripled up on Arsenal, because they are the way to go. James Maddison and Miguel Almiron are the... Sorry, I've just knocked the mic there. Are the names that really catch the eye. If we look at the hub prediction tool, so you can toggle this for midfielders and just buy this game week. And you can get this with the hub subscription with 30% off with the link in the chat. Odegaard and Saka are the top 2, and then Maddison and Almiron. Martinelli a bit further down. I do like Son as a bit of a punt, and I did... He's got more Premier League goals against Southampton than any other club. He did get those 4 the other season. So that's an interesting one to consider. I know that one's a bit out of your budget, but it may help someone else out. Let's just pop over to the tweet deck, see if anything is happening, any important team news. Looks fairly quiet still. Not too much going on today, especially with the fact that it is FA Cup weekend. As I said, we're waiting at 1:30 to hear from Graham Potter. Also press conference from Southampton at 1:30. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I'm probably not going to be constantly on the tweet deck. As you can hear, I've got another cold. Well, I don't know if it's another cold or the same cold. I think this is the perils of being a parent. You just get all the germs, but I feel like I've had a bit of a cold for about a month now, so... Vivek says, are you a Spurs fan? No, definitely not a Spurs fan. Wenyi says 9 to 10 players or else free hit. Go with the 9 to 10 players. If you haven't voted in the poll yet, guys, though, please do. Kane is really racing ahead, 64% to Saka's 20. Others on 15. I am actually a bit surprised. I was expecting maybe a bit more love for Saka. If anyone is captaining Saka, let me know. Why? What is the appeal? Really good beginner's question from Rohit. Will free hitting cancel transfers made early in the week and restore the -4 hit taken? So a free hit means that any hit you've taken previously in the week will be cancelled, and it also means that your team reverts back to how it looked at the game week 27 deadline. So you won't retain any transfers if you free hit later, having made transfers earlier in the game week. So hopefully that clears it up. There's a lot of ambiguity with free hit. People think they can play the system, but it unfortunately doesn't work like that. Light Race has asked, what is the injury news on Shah? So he's been flagged with a foot problem. He's not been selected for Switzerland in the international break because of that foot problem, but he has been training with the rest of the squad this week for Newcastle. So we kind of expect that he will be involved still in that fixture. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, because we need every player we can get. I mean, I owned Botman for so long, wishing that I had Shah, and now it's like, oh, it'd have been easier to have Botman. But, you know, you just can't legislate for injuries. He's still the best defender away from Trippier in terms of selecting in the FPL because of his goal threat. So in terms of shots among defenders since the restart, he is ranked top with 20 shots. He's ranked... No, he misses out, in, I think, a bit. Well, he was on 3, so he's probably joint 6th for shots on target. Top for shots in the box. Top for big chances. Top for XG. No goals, though. He's due a goal. As due as Gabriel was last week. But if he's not on the pitch, then it's not going to help us this week, is it? Edward has asked, Estupinan to Chilwell, Haaland to Watkins. I like that move, particularly if it's for free. I think it's a little bit more problematic taking the hit, but if it enables you to get to 11, then it probably will work out for you. Mike says Richarlison for the 1 week free hit punt. Yeah. Thing is with Richarlison, yeah, I think it was his first Premier League goal, wasn't it? No, he wasn't. He didn't even score. He still hasn't scored for Spurs in the Premier League. It was 2 assists that he got last weekend against Forest. But that is crazy, really. You look at him the last few seasons, 13 goals, 7 goals, 10 goals. Obviously, minutes haven't been on his side, but I mean, the fact he got those assists does give us a bit of encouragement, and I feel like he's nailed on for the next little period, especially with the injuries Spurs has got. But it is a concern. If you're on a free hit, though, why not? Let's have a look at what he's predicted to score. Let's filter this by Spurs. Yeah, I mean, the algorithm isn't loving him. A lot of that will be to do with predicted minutes. So he's on a predicted 53 minutes. But even if you scale it up to 90 minutes, you know, he's predicted to score less than Son and Kane. But he's cheaper. He is cheaper. Captain Son is another question from Wenyi. I don't mind that at all, particularly with that record. Nathan has said Chilwell or Cash. Is there a rotation risk to Chilwell? Yeah, there is. If we look at the defenders predicted to score the most points this week, goes Trippier, James, Chilwell. Cash is a bit further down, actually. The algorithm prefers Concert and Mings, but Cash is predicted on 77 minutes, whereas Mings and Concert are on 90. So if you're a bit more confident of minutes for Cash, then that could be a move. If we look at the clean sheet odds from FPL Salah, Abdul, Villa are ranked 4th for clean sheet potential, Chelsea higher. I think what's better to do is, because we have got 29 in mind, is look at the top predicted players across the next 2, and it's Newcastle players in front, followed by Chelsea, then Villa. It's just about minutes. That is the issue with the Chelsea boys. 1:30, we should start to see some movement on the tweet deck. Looks like Sellers is in for his press conference. So keep an eye on those things coming through. 87 likes on the stream now. Let's get it to 100. Christina says, would you use your free hit for this game week if you've got 6 players not playing and can field 8? I think that's potential, but I do prefer wildcarding this week and setting yourself up well for the next 2 if you've not used the wildcard already. Nelson says, right now I have 11 players for 32. Is there any other game week we could look to play free hit? Yep. I mean, double game week 34 is meant to be a big one, 37 as well. There might be a smaller double in there somewhere for the likes of Brighton and Newcastle that you could really load up on. So don't worry. Free hit 38 is always a viable strategy as well. You know, tend to get some weird little performances, lots of goals at home last game of the season, particularly if some teams are on the beach. Shyamalan says Watkins will score. I'll bring him in then. Remind me to do that before the end of the stream. I always worry when I'm streaming on a Friday that I do the wrong transfer on stream, or that I feel like once I finish the stream, it's probably my last piece of content for the game week and I forget that I haven't actually made any moves. Com says, with Chelsea getting the toughest possible Champions League draw, Real Madrid in the quarterfinals and potentially City in the semi-finals, does that make Chilwell a rotation risk, or will Potter have to focus more on top form for in Premiership? I mean, I personally feel like Champions League has got to be Chelsea's focus, but maybe that draw will mean that they're less focused on it. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It's a tricky one. You're always going to see rotation. Chilwell and James are very rarely fit, aren't they? I mean, Badiashile was looking good, and then he's not played 2 of the last 3. Koulibaly, is he nailed? They're not that attractive prospects, though, from FPL perspective, compared to James and Chilwell. James is flagged again, though. Nappy is still keeping Haaland. I bet he's going to score 5 against Liverpool now, isn't he? Wenyi says Martinelli is better than Saka. I mean, Martinelli's got the form, and we have to bear in mind, at the start of the season, Martinelli was the Arsenal asset to own. In those first, from the midfield, in those first 5 game weeks, 3 goals, 1 assist. He was plodding away. Arsenal have continued to kick on, but with Trossard in, and we've also seen Jesus back fit. I think that's only going to help Martinelli. You're unlikely to need the funds for anything else, though, so tricky one to weigh up. Yeah, Odegaard is a good option as well. It's a difficult one. Liran has asked for a wildcard draft. Okay. I think I would go Steele as the backup keeper. I think I'd stick with certainly the defence that I've got there. Let's think about this. I don't know if I would triple up on Arsenal on a wild card. I mean, the hub does give if I cheat a bit, the hub does give on the My Team tool a best wildcard squad. Kepa in goal, triple Chelsea defence, Trippier, Konza, Maddison, Saka, Odegaard, Kane, Tony, Iheanacho. I don't know if mine would look exactly like that, but I probably would go Maddison in there. I probably would go Chilwell in there. So you'd have this week, you'd be playing Kepa, Gabriel, Chilwell, Trippier, Shah, Odegaard, Saka, Maddison. That is 10, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I'd go McAllister. And then Arsenal, I'd probably have Henry in there as well. I think the injuries to the Arsenal defence and the fact that they don't double in 20... I mean, you probably have to go Botman as well. The fact that they don't double in 29 means that you probably wouldn't load up. What Arsenal players would I go for? Would I go? No, I think I'd still probably have Saka and Odegaard. It's difficult though. It is quite difficult. Something like that with another defender. Would you just go Reece James? Take the punt? Maybe. The Villa defenders were looking alright though, weren't they? Let's go with the Mings. It's not that exciting, is it? But, you know, plenty of players for this week. Plenty of players that double next week. Saka, Odegaard, Kane would be the single game weekers for next week. And on your bench this week, you'd have Rashford, McAllister, and a sub. Should be okay, something like that. I know I've not spent masses of time on that. Andrew says free hit, worth it more in 28 than 32 and 34. Potentially not, but it depends how good your team is set up for 28, if I'm honest. But I think 32 and 34 will be better, particularly because I think Brighton assets could have a double game week at some point and will probably blank in 32. Let me just pop over to the tweet deck then, see if anything important is happening. Graham Potter is in. I said we would try to win the Champions League. That's the same for the other 7 clubs. We'll focus on Real Madrid when we get there. There we go then. That's that one. Anthony Martial and Anthony are not available for United for the FA Cup this weekend. I don't think that's going to affect people too much from an FPL perspective. I'll keep the tweet deck open then while Potter's talking, because that's probably the most important one for people. I feel like I've lost my place in the chat now as well. Mubashir says, should I keep Saliba because he's injured or do a -4 and replace him? I think you're probably going to want to replace your Arsenal defenders next week anyway. So if you've got 11 for this week, I'd just leave him. But if not, then, you know, maybe get Chilwell if you don't own him yet. Mandap says, should I go Salah to Maddison or hold him for the double? I think I would go Salah to Maddison. I prefer Maddison to Salah in 29 anyway. Benji says, City fan here. Think I died seeing that draw today, but you got to beat the best to be the best. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're worthy of winning the Champions League, you're getting those results all along the way. So, something to bear in mind. We've made it to 100 likes, guys, on the stream. So, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. And also, I can see the followers going up as well. Not followers, subscribers. Get with the platform, Holly. So, appreciate it. If you don't follow me already, if you don't subscribe already, then please hit that subscribe button as well. I really do appreciate it. Chris has said, Havertz or Watkins? For me, it's Watkins. But I think that's probably just because I don't particularly trust Havertz. And I know other people may be a little bit more trusting of him as an FPL asset, but I've never really had a very good experience. So that's why it's not for me. Nelson says, I'm leaning towards Odegaard captain. Interesting. I don't think that's a bad pick either. Big Dave says, Tony for captain is slept on home via terrible Leicester defence. Yeah, I saw that Danny Ward could potentially be dropped for Iverson even. So that just shows you how bad Leicester's defence is right now. So, Sterling, Mount, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta all still out. Kante, a chance of being in the squad. Interesting. Mother Shear says, why are people crazy for Watkins? He's got the form. He's got the fixtures. I think he's just an obvious one, really. Nappy says, any news on Almiron tonight? Yeah, I don't think we've seen anything on Almiron. Old Dippo, what's your take on Reece James double up with Chilwell for a -8 to field 11? Could all go very, very wrong, really. But I guess they've not had a game midweek, have they? So could be worth it. But in the long run, I feel like you're going to run into problems there. David said, what do you think about putting the captain's armband on Watkins? Yeah, don't mind that one either. That's why I put other in the poll, because I do think there's a few credible options. We've just passed 200 watching, so thank you everyone who's joining me this afternoon. It's on same time every single week, 1 o'clock UK time. Wei Ying has said, from Singapore, welcome. What do you think of Salah to Son this week, then Son to Fernandes next week? I've got 9 playing this week. Or should I say the transfer and do Salah to Fernandes? Not really loving the 1 week punt. But getting from 9 to 10 is attractive. The other option is you get Maddison, but I'm guessing if you're looking at Bruno Fernandes, you've been planning that move for a while. I am a bit nervous of how United will perform with Casemiro suspended though. Chloe says, game week 27, worst game week, 39 points. Game week 27, followed it up with 106 points. Well done. This just shows you that, you know, you can have a squad that's absolutely nothing and the very next week they pull it out of the bag. Variance in FPL has been ridiculous this season. Stephen says, is Stupinan or Henry to Chilwell? Maybe a Stupinan because it's going to give you an extra play for this week, and he's a little bit of a doubt for 29 because of when he's going to be back for Chelsea following midweek international break fixtures. Glyn has said, do Liverpool have a double in 29? They do. Not the best one though. This is why people are looking to sell Salah anyway. City away, Chelsea away, and then Arsenal at home in 30. That's why people are making the move. Chloe says, I'm doing Haaland to Watkins. For a second free transfer, should I get Estupinan out for Chilwell, March out for Almiron or Maddison, or just roll the transfer? I would go with Estupinan to Chilwell, I think. Never give up FPL. Oh, I wanted to sometimes. Isaac is my differential captain. That'll have you giving up if he doesn't perform. Nithin says, oh gosh, I've lost my place in the chat again. Too heavy on the scroll. Watkins or Havertz for the next 3 game weeks? For me, it's Watkins. Have I not answered that one already? FIFA player says, Billing is my captain. Has only scored in his last 2 games. You never know. David says, with Tony close to a second yellow, would you keep it, transfer, or use it on Chilwell? I think just use it on Chilwell. Gurav, I want to take a -4. Should I buy Chilwell or Trippier? I think I'd go Trippier. Newcastle have got a game in hand over most clubs. Omar, what do I do with my wildcard? I think I've done a wildcard draft now, so hopefully that helped. Is it okay to bring in Chilwell for a Brentford defender next week? Yep, that's perfectly fine as well. Benny has asked, is the best time to use my bench boost in 29 or save it for 34? I would, if you've got, you know, a lot of doublers and maybe only a few blanks on single game week plays on your bench from like Arsenal, then I'd say bench boost 29. We're a while away though, so you know I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We'll see how things are looking then, because as we know, things can change very quickly in FPL. Salaman says, is Maddison also a good choice? Yeah, I think he is. I think Leicester have massively underperformed their XG in recent games, so we've got to see an improvement soon. Damien says, who are you captaining this week? I might make my move now, actually. Oh, let's hit this reset button. It's nearly doing a -20 there on transfers for a wild card. So Haaland is going to be out for Watkins. Make transfers. Haaland out, Watkins in. Confirm transfers. Do not want to play my free hit. There we go. So it's going to be Kane captain, Saka vice captain for me. The poll, which has had 325 votes, 66% Kane. So 2/3 of people going Kane captain. Saka 18%, other was 13%. Christina, I used my wildcard last week, so I have 15 players playing twice next game week. I'm planning on using my bench boost. Should I get rid of Haaland and get Kane? Yeah, I think the popularity of Kane as a captain pick means it's important to at least cover him in your squad. Omar says Chilwell or me. I'd go Chilwell. Samrat says Havertz or Felix. I think Havertz is looking the pick of the two at the moment. Asazi, the reveal is on the screen. That famous 5-2-3 formation in FPL. What a week. What a week. But yeah, can't complain too much, guys. Cannot. I've got 11 men. Mosh says Watkins is a trap. Haaland scoring 4v Paul. I've made my bed. Peter has asked for news on Emerson Royale. Yeah, he's back training with the squad, so fingers crossed. Samrat says third attacker with Kane and Watkins. I wouldn't buy Tony this week. I think, Havertz could be worth a look. Vivek says, should I do Sanchez to steal for next week's double? If you've got 2 free transfers and you've got 11 players, I don't hate that move. But if you've only got 1 free transfer, just wait till next week. Watkins has got a double in 29, yeah. Lenky says, would you do me or Pinnock to Chilwell as a second free transfer or hold and have 2 frees? I think with this Tony yellow card could be banned situation, 2 frees would be useful for 29. Alexis, is it worth it to go Chilwell for Henry for a -4 this week? No, I wouldn't do it. Hesham says Isaac instead of Kane. What do you think? Not loving it. Alan says I'm captaining Chilwell. What do you think? Well, I hope he starts and plays 90. He should do. Yeah, I think that's okay. Mark says Kane or Son captain. Depends how risky you're feeling. I like both, if I'm honest. Right, I've actually made it through all of your questions today, which feels like a massive achievement. Team reveal is on screen now as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back in 2 weeks after the international break on holiday next weekend. So it'll be good to catch up with you all again then. Thank you so much for joining. All the support on the channel has been amazing this week, and not just this week, all the weeks. Really helping me to grow the channel and get more content out for you guys. So thanks very much. Have a really good game week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.